Hello everybody, welcome to National Signing Day basketball and a whole bunch of other sports. We've got the men, we've got the women, and we've got other sports to follow. We'll get into all of those as we progress. I'm Gary Laubach, along with John Leone on GoLeopards.com, and of course head coach Fran O'Hanlon will be the first to join us as we talk about the recruits. 5 new ones coming in, 2 on the men's side, 3 on the women's side. And it's an interesting mix of players, and Fran's got a 7-footer. I don't think I've ever said that on the air before. I remember Frank Barr, but we weren't doing this show back when Frank Barr was being recruited. So, Fran, this is your 24th or 25th group of recruits. How has the process gone? How did the process go?
Well, this was an interesting one because one of our former stars here, Jay Matola, told me about the 7-footer. So I said, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to blame him. But I think it's going to work out. He's terrific, Neil Quinn, and he fits the Leopard mold because he can shoot the ball, believe it or not. But he can also score on the block, and he's not Leopard thin. He's got some bulk to him. So we're very happy to have Neil, and the other young man is Leo O'Boyle, up from the Scranton Prep. So he's somebody who fits the mold as well. He really shoots the 3-ball well. So we're very happy with our recruitment.
So, Fran, the strategy this year, obviously those familiar with the Patriot League and your program in particular know what kind of guards you brought in last year. Obviously there's Sean Good, who's going to give us an inside 6'11" presence, but the focus, I thought the guard class was exceptional. How did that impact the way you went about it this year? I see there's a 7-footer, and of course Leo is about 6'7".
Well, yes, we had 2 spots available, and obviously we brought in 2 perimeter players this past year, point guard to replace Eric Stafford and also Isaac Suffren. And so both those guys complement the guys that we brought last year, who had a lot of experience. They got a lot of playing time last year, so coming into this year, we knew we needed to bring in a 5-man and a 4-man. A lot of times I hate the designation, the 5 and 4.
Yeah.
I think they're 2 very good basketball players, but they were the needs that we had coming into this season.
We're going to start with Leo O'Boyle. Fran has already mentioned him. He is 6'7", 215 pounds, so he's got really good size. He's out of Scranton, Pennsylvania, and his brother played at Fordham for a little bit, and then his brother went on to play football, or is going to play football, I guess, at the University of Miami. So an athletic group of family, an athletic family with a couple of brothers. And let's take a look at some of the video, and Fran and John will talk about Shaun O'Boyle.
Fran, I was watching this young man. He's got great size, and he's a system kind of player. That's what jumped out at me. Yes, he can catch and shoot. That's a staple of the kinds of kids that play in your system. But he can also put it on the floor, and the thing I like best, he seems to be a willing rebounder. He goes after the ball.
There's no doubt. He's a complete player, I think. He can score on the block a little bit. He's a terrific shooter. And the thing that I like about him as well, he makes good, quick decisions. He doesn't over-dribble. He knows how to play the game. He can pass, and obviously he's a quarterback for his football team. So he's got a good basketball IQ. We're excited to have Leo.
Yeah, I think he's physically, we won't have to worry too much about him developing and acquiring the strength. He's got the frame already. You can see here, he runs the floor well. There's the catch and shoot with great range. You're going to see in a few minutes, there's no shot clock here, but he seems to be shooting against the clock. And Fran, there are people all over him, and his shot never changes. It never changes.
No, he's got a great release. He's got great muscle memory, and he doesn't mess with the ball. He's just straight up and knocks him down. As I said, he's versatile in the fact that he can go inside and outside. And I know that his high school team depends on him a lot. Handling the basketball, shooting, playing inside, and as you said, rebounding. He's physical.
Yeah, you're going to see a step back here in a minute. That it's something that you work on all the time with your guys at this level. Getting your shot off is critical. Things you could get away with in high school, you can't necessarily get away with at this level with these kinds of athletes. And you'll see him in a few minutes just kind of, here's a rebound. Watch him go after this thing. That's getting rebounds that don't come to you is the difference between good rebounders and
yes, he's not just an area rebounder. He goes out of his area to get rebounds, and he goes with tenacity. So as I said, he brings a lot to the table. And you had mentioned earlier, he has good size, good. He's not thin. He's put together, And he's physical. Having played football, I'm sure that's a big part of it too. He's not afraid of contact. We're excited to have him, and he's one of our better recruits, or higher rated recruits over the last number of years. I don't want to put any pressure on him, but we're expecting a lot out of him.
Well, I think he's got some good teachers in the program as well. People have been through it. People like Kyle Stout and Lucas Jarrett. Those guys know what it takes. But Fran, I've seen great shooters in high school come in here, and you got to break them down sometimes first, because as I said before, the things you could get away with in high school, you can't, and it starts with your lower body. But he seems to have good feet. His release is impeccable, and a lot to work with there.
No, as I said, we're excited to have Leo, and he has very good feet. He's got a great release. It's a quick release, and he knows how to play the game, and he's physical. And us losing Paul's release,
sure.
this is somebody we expect to come in here and vie for minutes, right away.
Terrific.
Well, due to technology and John Sabino and his staff, their ability to go out of their way and take that extra step, we can talk to Leo O'Boyle via the internet. So Leo, welcome to Lafayette, and tell us a little bit about why you chose Lafayette.
I just thought it was a good opportunity for me, especially close to home. It's like an hour away. The team's playing pretty well so far, so I think I made the right choice. But the coaches, they're really great guys and seem like they know what they're doing. So I think I made the right choice.
Leo, can you talk about the recruiting process, and if there was anyone in particular that influenced your choice to come here to Lafayette?
I probably have to say just my family in general. I know my parents probably would like me to stay home close like I did, so they can come to the games and see me when they need to. So that had a part to do with it.
I know you're from Scranton. How important was it to stay close to the area so obviously your parents can come see you play?
I mean, at first I really didn't want to stay close to home, in all honesty, but once I went out and took the visit, I really liked it. So it turned out pretty well for me. So I could only be an hour away, like I said. So it kind of worked out perfectly.
Lafayette is an academic institution. I'm sure that was important to you. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose Lafayette on the academic side of things?
I was thinking possibly business, but I'm not too sure yet. But obviously, when you get the opportunity to play a Division I sport and get high academics like Lafayette has, you kind of a hard offer to pass down.
Okay, that's Leo O'Boyle, one of the first recruits, 6'7", out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Fran talked about him. We certainly look forward to Leo O'Boyle coming on campus. Now the 7-footer, Neil James Quinn. He's not just 7 feet, he's 250 pounds. Fran never gets 250-pound 7-footers. In fact, he didn't really get 7-footers. I went on the internet and they listed him as 6'11", but he listed 7 foot. He really had an interesting application of all the guys that I read over. He's out of New Jersey. His father went to St. Joe's, his mom went to Ithaca. 2 older brothers, who one is on the Rutgers crew team, and he's from Ramapo High School, and first team All-League. 7 feet. Fran, tell us a little bit about him before John and you take a look at the video.
Yes, actually, Leo has transferred in from another high school into Ramapo. Moved, but we're excited about Leo, and I do think he's legitimately 7 foot. He may be 7'2" by the time he gets.
He is big.
Who knows? He's continuing to grow, and he's one of the better passing big guys. You're going to love this, John, because he can really pass the basketball. He can score on the block. He can score outside. He's somebody I'm very excited about. Somebody, because everything, as you know, in our offense revolves around the post, and you got to be able to control the post. You got to be able to do things, and you got to be able to pass out of there.
Let's take a look at him in action, and John and Fran will analyze.
Yeah, I got pretty excited when I saw Neil Quinn. And Fran, just a word of warning, if he struggles at first, please don't blame Jay Mottola. Ever since Jay made that free throw at Madison Square Garden to beat Virginia in the NIT in 1972, we don't blame Jay for anything. But there you see Neil Quinn, and Fran, you said this, and this is what I like about him. He's so fundamentally sound. he catches the ball, he finds the defense first. There's a left-handed shot right there. He uses both left and right hands. There's a little jump hook. We're used to getting 7-footers and talking about projects. This is a different kind of project. He comes equipped with a certain skill set. The project with him is taking him to a whole different level.
Exactly, and you're right. He has a very good skill set. As I said, he can do a lot of things. He can pass. The only thing that he'll have to get used to is the speed of the college game. Being in top-notch shape, it's a different. You have a 30-second clock. There's a lot of things, but I certainly expect him to make those adjustments. And as working games and interviewing people, you're going to love his personality because he is not shy.
Van Bredikoff used to call it, he'd look at a kid, and if he had a little twinkle in his eye, it was always a positive sign. And he never defined what twinkle in your eye meant. I had a sense, though, that you're hitting on it. I just love the way he catches the ball, and he keeps the ball high. There you see a pass right there from the low post. If people around him are moving, he's going to find them. You mentioned his ability to shoot the ball. I also watched him make a couple of free throws. It looks like he knows what he's doing from the free throw line.
And the other thing I like about Neil, as you watch him, his progression has been terrific, and that's the thing as you watch from his junior year, and he seems to get better by the month. And that's what I really love about having recruited him, that every time I see him, he is doing something different, doing something a little bit better. And I think the sky's the limit for potentially for him.
I think it's got to be a good sign for you that he's been around good coaches too. Talk about some of the guys he's worked with. Obviously, one very well-known coach.
Yes, Bob Hurley, Coach Hurley, has taken an interest in him. As we know that Coach Hurley took this year off, so he's been doing clinics and working with some of these guys individually. So he's been well schooled, and I'm sure he's probably been yelled at by him. So not that I would ever yell at anybody.
No, Coach, I know.
But he has been coached, and he's very receptive to coaching. And one of the things that Coach Hurley said, he says, I think this kid has terrific potential down the road. And he's been right. As I said, he's gotten better every time I see him.
It's not often I mentioned his application, where the application kind of tells you a little bit about his personality. Fran mentioned what a great kid he is to talk to. He's going to be a perfect kid for the Lafayette campus. First of all, he wants to be governor of New Jersey. That's on his application. He wants to be the governor of New Jersey. He wants to fight corruption. And he wants to help those who really need some help, whether it's financial or whether it's emotional. So he sounds like a terrific young man. And once again, we have the opportunity to chat with him a little bit. So Neil, again, welcome to Lafayette. And how did you hear about Lafayette? And what was it about the coaches and your visit that made you want to come here?
I first heard of Lafayette through a family friend, Jay Matola. And then he reached out to the coaching staff. Coaching staff reached out to me, and I visited the campus in October, fell in love with it, fell in love with the coaches, loved all the players, and that was a good day.
I know you're from New Jersey, so you're not all that far away either, so did that help your decision in that you too wanted to stay fairly close to home?
It's important to stay close to home because you got to be near your family. Family is what keeps you right, keeps you stable, so I always wanted to be able to come visit whenever I wanted to, and with Lafayette I could do that.
And tell us what you are most looking forward to this year, your senior season, playing some high school basketball.
I'm looking forward to winning a state championship, sectionals, making a run in the counties, pretty much just play as long as possible, win as much as possible, and just have fun.
Well, there you have it, the two Lafayette men's recruits, Leo O'Boyle, Neil Quinn. They'll be here shortly. It seems like this show gets quicker every year that we come up to it, and Fran knows because you never stop recruiting.
Yeah, I was just talking to Fran about the guards we brought in last year, and I didn't realize we've had a whole other recruiting class since then with Tyrone and Shaun and some of the other guys. It's going by way too fast.
Yes. And as one of my former assistants, Coach Brogan, Pat Brogan, used to say it's code red, R-E-D. Recruit every day.
And that's exactly what these guys have to do while coaching and while playing the game and getting ready for the opponents. Women's basketball is up next. Thanks to Fran for taking some time and stopping by, and we'll be right back.